Eala sends the defending champion to an early exit in Washington.
Down 1-5 in the second set, defending champion across the net, and people were already heading for the exits. Then something happened that froze an entire stadium. Grown men went quiet, strangers grabbed each other by the arm, and a 19-year-old did something that by every logical measure shouldn't have been possible. But here's the thing nobody talks about. The moment that flipped everything, it didn't look like anything. No scream, no fist in the air, just a girl named Alex walking slowly to grab her towel, taking one breath and turning back around like the scoreboard meant absolutely nothing to her. That's where this story actually starts. Rewind 2 hours, Washington, D.C. is electric, and not because of politics, not because of some red carpet moment, because of tennis, more specifically because of a flag. Red, blue, and gold splashed across the stands, on t-shirts, on handmade signs held up by kids who had no business being awake that late. Families had driven hours. People had rearranged entire work weeks. Filipinos scattered across the East Coast had all converged on one building for one reason. A girl named Alex was playing, and something about her felt different. Not just talented, not just promising. Different. What most people outside that arena didn't understand yet was the weight she was actually carrying. Alex wasn't just playing a tennis match. She was carrying an entire country's hope onto a court. And across the net stood the one person built to destroy that kind of hope. Leylah Fernandez, defending champion of this very tournament, former Grand Slam finalist, a player who didn't just know how to win, she knew how to wait for her opponent to crack, then finish the job without hesitation. If you're thinking this sounds like a classic underdog story, slow down. Because underdog stories usually have one twist. This one has 3, and the first twist lands before a single ball is struck. Just days before this match, Alex had already done something that turned the whole tournament's head. She knocked out an Olympic champion in a 3-set grinder that would have broken a lesser competitor. That win said, she's for real. But it also did something dangerous. It put a target on her back. Because in professional tennis, the second you prove you're a threat, nobody gives you the benefit of the doubt again. Leylah Fernandez wasn't walking in blind. She knew exactly who Alex was. And champions don't fear talent, they prepare for it. Watch the warm-up. Both players completely composed. No nerves on the surface, no mind games, just clean, controlled hitting. The kind of quiet that somehow feels louder than any crowd noise. Underneath it, one question hanging in the air that neither of them could say out loud. Who breaks first? Because at its core, that's what this match was really about. Not technique, not footwork, belief. The kind that only shows itself when things are falling apart. The match opens carefully, cautious. 2 players feeling each other out like chess players scanning the board before committing. And then, almost without anyone noticing at first, something shifts. Alex stops reacting to Leylah's game and starts dictating her own. She steps inside the baseline. Her returns land heavier, deeper, with real intent. She's not going for glory shots. She's making calculated decisions, point after point, quietly tightening a grip that most people in the building can't see yet. It doesn't look dramatic. It looks patient. And patient tennis is the kind that wins tournaments, not highlight reels. Leylah senses it immediately, the way every champion senses a shift. She fights back. Longer rallies, sharper angles, making Alex work twice as hard for every single point. Each exchange becomes its own little war. The crowd stops being spectators. Strangers who walked in neutral are suddenly gripping their armrests for someone they didn't know an hour ago. That's what live sport does. It turns thousands of separate people into one shared nervous system. Then a break point arrives, the kind that decides entire matches. Leylah serves big. The rally that follows is brutal. Cross-court, down the line, back again. Neither one willing to give an inch. And then Alex sees it. Not a gift, just a sliver. She steps in, drives it deep, and the game is hers. What happens next says everything. She doesn't pump her fist. She doesn't let out a shout. She turns around, takes a breath, and walks back to the baseline with the same expression she had on the opening point. That composure is the loudest statement a player can make without speaking a single word. It says, "I'm not surprised I'm here. I belong here." From that moment, the emotional temperature of the match shifts. Leylah's shots are still landing, but Alex keeps finding answers. Every hold builds a little more confidence. Every return chips away at the certainty a defending champion is supposed to carry on home turf. And championship tennis, more than anything, comes down to one invisible battle you'll never see on a stat sheet: who believes first and who believes longest. Alex closes out the first set cleanly. The applause rolls through half the arena like a wave, but lean in, because this is where it gets real. Everyone in that building, including Alex, knew one undeniable truth about defending champions: they do not go quietly. The second set opens like a different match entirely. Leylah flips a switch that nobody else in the building seems to have access to. Earlier in rallies, deeper returns, service games that suddenly cost Alex twice the energy, and then the score starts moving in one direction. 1 game, 2, 3, 4. The crowd that was roaring minutes ago goes quieter, not because they stopped caring, but because they're trying to process what they're watching. Then the scoreboard reads something almost nobody predicted after that dominant first set: 5 games to 1. Read that again. Because that number is the hinge point this entire story turns on. The defending champion has stormed back with terrifying efficiency, and across the net, the same composed, confident player from 20 minutes earlier is now just fighting to survive each exchange. People near the exits start checking their phones. Commentators start running through third-set scenarios, because 5-1 against Leylah Fernandez doesn't usually get erased. It usually gets finished. And this is exactly where you need to stop and pay attention, because what happens next defies everything that building believed was possible. Alex walks to her towel. She doesn't slam her racket. She doesn't argue with the air. She doesn't even look rattled. She just breathes, resets, and walks back to the baseline with the exact same look she's worn since the opening point. That one quiet moment might matter more than anything else in this story. Because right there, a 19-year-old decided the scoreboard didn't get to write her ending. 1 game. No fireworks, 1 solid serve, 1 patient rally, 1 point at a time. She holds 5-2. It's not a comeback yet. It's barely a whisper of 1. But whispers have a way of getting louder when nobody's expecting them. Leylah is still 1 game from closing the set. Every piece of momentum, every bit of crowd experience, every logical indicator says this match is going exactly where she wants it. But pressure is strange. It doesn't stay loyal to whoever's winning. It goes looking for cracks. The Filipino sections grow louder every time Alex wins a point, like they can feel something building before the scoreboard even reflects it. Then comes one of the longest rallies of the night. Back and forth, cross-court, down the line, neither player wanting to be the one who flinches. And then Alex steps in and redirects the ball with a timing that looks borderline impossible under that kind of pressure. Winner. The crowd doesn't cheer. It erupts. And suddenly the defending champion, who moments ago looked completely untouchable, is serving under genuine pressure for the first time all night. 1 missed first serve, then another. The rally tightens, gets heavier. Alex isn't going for miracle shots. She's just asking one question with every single ball she hits. Can you hold your nerve right now? That question gets harder to answer every time it's asked. Another break. 5-3. People who had 1 foot out the door turn around. Phones that were checking parking apps are suddenly pointed at the court, because the entire stadium just realized what they might be watching. Not quite a miracle. Something more dangerous than a miracle. Momentum. And once real momentum takes hold in professional tennis, it feeds on itself, point after point, until the player on the losing end can feel the ground shifting beneath them in real time. Alex holds again. 5-4. The pressure has completely, undeniably flipped. Then, the moment that turns a comeback into a legend. Another enormous breakpoint. The stadium goes almost completely silent, the way it only does right before something enormous lands. Alex returns deep. Leylah answers. The rally stretches, and then an error. Break back. 5-5. The sound that follows isn't just applause, it's disbelief bouncing off every wall at once. Minutes ago, this match looked done. Now nobody, not the players, not the commentators, not a single soul in those seats, has any idea what's coming next. 2 more games blur past on pure nerves and willpower, neither player giving anything away. Until the scoreboard reads 6-all, tie break. If you've never watched a tennis tie break live, understand this. It is the most brutally honest format the sport has. 2 hours of history and emotional investment, compressed into a handful of points, where one mistake can end everything. First point to Alex, then another. Leylah tries to reach back for whatever carried her from 1 to 5 earlier. It never arrives. Every return Alex hits lands exactly where it needs to. Every serve finds its mark. The gap opens fast. 4-1, 5-1, 6-1 match point. Thousands of phones go up at once. One final rally, controlled, deliberate. Alex sees her window and commits completely. The ball lands deep, clean, untouchable. Game, set, match. For 1 full second, nothing. Just thick silence. Then the stadium detonates. Alex has just defeated the defending champion, 6-2, 7-6, completing one of the most jaw-dropping reversals of the entire tournament. And here's the detail that tells you everything about who she is. She doesn't drop to her knees. She doesn't scream into the lights. She smiles, walks calmly to the net, and shakes hands with the woman who nearly finished her off 20 minutes earlier. Respect, not revenge. That's the note this entire night ends on. Because this win was never really about beating a defending champion, even though that's exactly what happened. It was about something quieter, something harder to teach. Staying composed when the scoreboard turns against you. Trusting your own game when logic says you shouldn't. Refusing to let one bad stretch become the whole story. Those aren't skills you pick up overnight. They're built in thousands of practice sessions nobody ever filmed. In losses nobody wrote articles about. In quiet moments of self-belief when absolutely no one else was watching. By the time the interviews start, you can feel the entire conversation around her shifting. Nobody's asking whether she belongs on this stage anymore. That question got answered somewhere between 1-5 and 5-5. The new question, the one everyone in that stadium walked out asking, is simpler and far more dangerous for every future opponent she faces. How far can she actually go? Because every win like this one doesn't just add to a resume. It adds pressure, expectation, a spotlight that gets harder to hide from every single time she steps on a court. But if this one unforgettable night in Washington proved anything, it's that Alex isn't running toward anyone else's expectations. She's setting her own, and somewhere out there, in tournaments not yet played, in matches not yet scheduled, an entire tennis world just quietly started paying very, very close attention.